Assassin's Creed 2 is the sequel to 2007's blockbuster hit game of the same name. Having sold over 8 million copies to date, it's no surprise that the new entry in the series has some serious expectations to fulfill. Despite the huge sales figures, the first game was often chastised for having many repetitive mechanics, bad enemy AI, and having a counter-kill ability that left the game feeling brokenly easy. The team at Ubisoft Montreal sought to remedy this with a sequel. Have they succeeded? Assassin's Creed 2 delivers an experience much like the first, but expanded upon in several different ways. You have a wide array of weapons to choose from in combat, there are a few added vehicles as well as the horse, and your own villa to expand and profit upon. The game's pacing is vastly improved, with each mission progressing the story further, rather than the relatively plotless assassinations of yore. While the structure is more linear, it is also more enthralling and fun, engaging you in a cast of characters you're more likely to remember and care about this time around. What's the same, however, is the stale combat mechanics, the sometimes frustrating controls and context sensitivity, and finally, while greatly reduced, by the end of the game's span, you'll start to feel the repetition that plagued the original. The game stays fresh much longer, however, and the story is sure to sink you in with the rich weaving of fiction and historical tie-ins that form a cohesive story. It's no Dan Brown novel, but it certainly keeps you hooked from start to finish. You play as assassin Ezio Auditore, who is hell-bent on getting revenge on all responsible for the death of his family in 15th century Italy. Playing as Ezio is prefaced by the ongoing story of Desmond Miles, taking place in the near future. Desmond accesses the DNA-imprinted memories of his ancestors through the animus. This dynamic keeps you wanting to see what happens next in the future, working all that much harder to continue the game. As the game progresses, Ezio gets further entangled in the chain of command responsible for the death of his family. His voice acting does a good job of conveying the plot, although be sure to turn on subtitles to translate the dialogue spoken in Italian. Overall, the game is good looking, although not amazing. The streets of Italy are detailed intricately, and the environment is overall very aesthetically pleasing. Character models, on the other hand, feel dated. It's not usually a problem, but cutscenes in particular suffer greatly from this shortcoming. The game's soundtrack is very fitting for the Renaissance era. There are plenty of serene songs that play when incognito in town, while a slew of others to increase tension when being chased or hiding after being spotted, and they always feel appropriate with the game's time period. The game's structure follows a sandbox approach. You can free roam a few cities in Italy, collect an assortment of collectibles, earn cash by doing a number of odd jobs, or simply continue the story through select missions. If you're a fan of this setup, you'll feel at home here. People such as myself, however, will get tired of having to travel to each location. The climbing mechanics are similar to the first game, with a few new things here and there, and Ezio is much faster at climbing than Altair was. Being able to climb just about everything still has its charm, although occasionally clunky controls can cause the game to do something other than what you want. Collecting enough cash to get weapon and armor upgrades can be addictive, although players capable of restraining themselves from using up all their cash immediately can invest in villa upgrades early in the game. You can go back to the villa whenever you want, select which building you'd like to renovate, and every 20 minutes of gameplay you earn a certain amount of funding depending on how much you've invested into it. You'll earn your money's worth in no time, and be capable of buying a lot more than you would if you just flat out purchased everything you could afford. You can also increase the villa's worth by buying completed item sets or purchasing paintings to decorate. It plays out a lot like Fable 2. It's not as expansive, but also not as exploitable, making each purchase truly rewarding. The combat mechanics still aren't up to par with that of other action games. Counter kills are just as effective in the beginning of the game as they were in the original Assassin's Creed, and when they start to be ineffective, you can switch to fighting barehanded, and disarm and effectively counterkill with their stolen weapon instantly. If you try to play the combat legitimately, you won't die, but the frustration of landing so few hits will annoy most. Don't worry though, the wonky enemy AI is still there, and they'll just wait around, waiting for somebody else to attack first. For a game that pits stealth as imperative, it certainly doesn't give you enough options to hide from a guard's sight to get close enough to kill him. It only offers several viable options to escape once you have been spotted. The game would have benefited greatly from a cover type system, or any number of stealth game aspects. During certain crypt areas of the game, you'll find your platforming skills put to the test. This is where the game truly shines, and it's sad that it's put to such little use, with only a total of 6 of these crypts in the whole game. The series still has some serious flaws to deal with, but Assassin's Creed 2 certainly is a good step in the right direction. And hopefully come Assassin's Creed 3, the team will be able to make an absolute gem of a game.